So, the concept of thinking about the bariatric journey as stages or phases might be new to you. And it's something I talk about, or due to having worked with so many people, nearly 1,700 people, over my time as a registered dietitian specialising in the area of bariatrics. I really, I suppose, have that big picture of the different stages or phases that people move through in their bariatric journey. There is the thinking phase and the deciding phase to have surgery. There's the pre-surgery phase of getting ready and doing the pre-op and whatever people need to do. Then there's the weight loss phase, the weight loss stage, and that's that stage, so pretty self-explanatory, where you're in your weight loss phase. And then you move into your maintenance. And maintenance is, we know what the word maintenance is, it's to keep things where they are. And many people can find this stage, the maintenance phase, the hardest.
Welcome to the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast, where we empower you with weight loss surgery, nutrition knowledge, mindset advice, and inspiration, so you succeed in your weight and health journey. I'm your host, Jane Stoltz, and I am a bariatric dietitian who has helped over 1,300 people on their weight loss surgery journeys. I'm also a solo mum, lover of long walks while listening to podcasts, partial to a glass of wine, and the ocean is my happy place. Join me as I dive deep into bariatric nutrition and lifestyle topics and deliver them to you in bite-sized, palatable episodes every Monday. Now let's go.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast. And I'm going to be talking about the topic of maintenance, or the stage, or the phase, you could say phase or stage in the bariatric journey where you are maintaining. You're not in the early days, you're not in weight loss. And we're going to talk all about why that stage of maintenance can be the hardest for many people after their bariatric surgery. So the concept of thinking about the bariatric journey as stages or phases might be new to you. And it's something I talk about, or due to having worked with so many people, nearly 1,700 people, over my time as a registered dietitian specialising in the area of bariatrics. I really, I suppose, have that big picture of the different stages or phases that people move through in their bariatric journey. There is the thinking phase and the deciding phase to have surgery. There's the pre-surgery phase of getting ready and doing the pre-op and whatever people need to do. Then there's the weight loss phase, the weight loss stage, and that's that stage, so pretty self-explanatory, where you're in your weight loss phase. And then you move into your maintenance. And maintenance is, we know what the word maintenance is, it's to keep things where they are. And many people can find this stage, the maintenance phase, the hardest. Let me say at this point, everyone's journey is different. Everyone has different points where they will struggle and they will find them more challenging than others. So I'm just talking really a big picture in my experience that many people do struggle to be in that maintenance phase after the bariatric journey. And I wanted to explore that in this podcast. So you may be listening to this and saying, Jane, I'm struggling so much in my weight loss phase. What are you talking about? I just want to let you know that everyone has different journeys. And we can see this really clearly, and many people experience this, where you've had surgery on the same day as somebody else and you've kept in touch and they have coasted through a stage and you have found it really challenging. And then something else that they're challenged by and struggling with, you find not a problem. So everyone's journey is different. I wanted to talk today, and I'm talking to people that are in maintenance and are struggling and finding it hard. And I wanted to I suppose explore that, and also for me to share why I think it can be the hardest phase for many people. I have 6 points, and you could say points, observations on why I feel or what I see as being why people can struggle the hardest. Some people struggle the hardest in their maintenance phase. So I'm going to go through each of these points, explain what I mean, and hopefully you find this value. If you are getting close to maintenance or you're there, some of this may resonate with you. So number one is that when people have got to their maintenance after their weight loss surgery, they are still highly reactive to small fluctuations in weight. And I want to explain why this is not a good thing, why being highly reactive to small fluctuations in weight is not a positive. Do we want to monitor ourselves long term? Yes, but it's very normal for weight to go up and down. And when people are using the scales too much, and we can say, well, what's too much? And that can be an individual discussion. When you're jumping on the scales regularly and it moves up and down and you get affected by it, you get knocked around by it emotionally, that is not a great place to be. That is not where we want you to be living the rest of your life, because when you're in that space and you get triggered and you react to small fluctuations in weight, you're going to practice maybe some dieting behavior. And I'm going to talk more about going into restriction, second guessing what you're doing, and it can derail people. So I'll flesh out some other parts to this in some other points. But we really want to, over time, move to being not so reactive to fluctuations in weight. Know that it's really normal, that weight doesn't stay static. It goes up and down on a daily, weekly basis, and then also over a year. And can we put a markers on lows and highs, like we have the cat's eyes on either side of the road, kind of saying we're going off track. On either side of the road, we can kind of have figures personally for people, for them to feel comfortable if they're staying within those figures. We don't want them to be too close because it's unrealistic, but you don't want them to be too far away. But just know that we want to move away from being highly reactive and highly impacted emotionally by small fluctuations in weight, because in the long term, it is definitely part of that process that can derail people, guessing, pushing people off course. So that's number one. And that relates to quite closely to point number two, that when people are struggling in the maintenance phase of the bariatric journey, they're not clear on how to practice. I call it relaxed self-monitoring. So the dieting life, pre-surgery dieting career, I call it, is still in play post-surgery. And we want to relax into your new post-bariatric life. So it's maintainable, it's sustainable, you can relax into, and I'm going to talk more about balance soon, but relax into your new life post-bariatric surgery. And do we want to self-monitor? Yes, we do. But do we want to be highly attached to the scales and watching every minutiae of our body or changes all the time? No, we don't, because it's not sustainable, and it really links very closely to that first point of being highly reactive. We want to learn about how to have, I call it, yes, relaxed self-monitoring. How do we self-monitor in our new life post-bariatric surgery that is relaxed? It's not rigid. It allows for some flexibility and changes in our body, and we aren't highly triggered by slight changes. Okay, so those two go really closely together, but I did want to pull them apart. I wanted to really introduce a bit more about what I talk to my clients a lot about, which is relaxed self-monitoring. And when I have clients that are weighing themselves every day, we are certainly over time, I call it loosening the relationship with the scales, getting a little bit more distance, not seeing them every day. And I make jokes about maybe having too close a relationship with the scales. And we don't have to see them every day. We can get to see them once a week. And then after that, maybe it's every second week. And that's something that you feel fine about maintaining. So it's very individual. Some people are much more triggered by the scales, much more triggered by weight, but we really want to be finding that relaxed self-monitoring and feeling okay, not only in the head, but the heart when we have those small fluctuations in weight, because it's normal and it's the expected. When you've come out of your weight loss phase and you're used to seeing the weight going down, it's a new phase we're moving into. It's looking at how do we maintain the habits and keep going with the habits and doing the work, which it is work, to maintain what you've achieved after your bariatric surgery without the scales giving you kind of a pat on the back every day, because that is only in your weight loss phase. So that's a really big point. Point number 3, and this is a big one, is that I see so many people that come to work with me as clients in my boot camp, they're really struggling in maintenance because they haven't found balance. They're still in that being deprived, restricted headspace, feeling like they've got to stay there forever. And you can't stay there forever. When you feel deprived and restricted, at some point you will bounce into another eating cycle. So if we have an eating cycle of restriction and being deprived, can never have this, can never have that, can't have that, we can only hold that for so long. We will bounce, I call it, and move really quickly into another eating cycle called the overeating cycle. And that's where it's discretionary foods, eating quickly, eating in private because we're not happy, not enjoying the food. Then we feel guilty, we go back into restrictive. So maintenance phase, we need to have balance. It's not about being on a diet for the rest of your life. It's finding that healthy diet with some balance. You can have some of your treat foods. You can enjoy them, but you have them mindfully. You have them deliberately. You enjoy every mouthful. And you let yourself know that you can still have some of these foods sometimes. It's okay. You are not going to be deprived for the rest of your life having had bariatric surgery. And that's when often the foods start losing their power. They stop calling to you so much because you can have them sometimes. It's when we say, I can never have this, can never have this, that on or off dieting mindset can be very, very triggering. And that's why I'm really passionate about leaving that dieting mindset after weight loss surgery. And I start doing that work with my clients in the weight loss phase, because we need to start breaking those thought patterns and really addressing and being aware of the dieting mindset and how do we break that and break it down and challenge some of that thinking. And that takes time. And finding balance does take time as well, but we can start that work in the weight loss phase. So that's point number 3.
Now tell me, is this you? You have had your bariatric surgery and you're feeling lost, you're lacking support and you don't know what to eat and when. Or you may have noticed after your surgery, your hunger and cravings have started to return and you are scared you won't reach your goals. You may have had some weight regain and you want to stop the weight regain and lose some more weight. You may be pre-surgery and you want support to be fully prepared for your weight loss surgery journey. If any of these sound like you, then listen up. I have developed my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp just for you. My coaching program provides education, coaching and community for people getting ready for their weight loss surgery and at every stage after their surgery.
You were so fantastic. You didn't just go, here you go, off you go. You were like, right, here you go. Let's do it step by step. And it's that step by step. If somebody's prepared to help you like that, it's Yeah, immeasurable. It's priceless.
Your help just changed the game for me, right? It just changed the trajectory of my ability to understand what my body's telling me and trusting it. That was a hard one, right? Because my body, I can override it in a lot of ways in the past.
I think that hiring Jane has actually been the best thing that I've done. I was lost. I had no idea what to expect. I've never done bariatric surgery before. I've never had it done before. So yes, you have all the information from your surgeon and from their nutritionist and all that sort of stuff. If you have lifetime support, that's great. But a lot of times you don't. So you need to take that next step and invest in yourself, because that's what it is. It's the most amazing investment that I've made.
There are 4 key areas that I focus on with my clients in my bariatric nutrition bootcamp. One is the bariatric nutrition basics. You will learn what and how to eat so you feel satisfied, reach your protein and fluid goals, and have less cravings, and know how to manage your hunger in the future. Meal ideas and meal planning. You will learn to plan meals and snacks that you like, so you have great options on hand when it comes time to eat. Also, we focus on mastering weight regain habits, identifying any habits that are stopping you from reaching your goals, and create manageable strategies to get back on the straight and narrow so you can manage your weight for the rest of your life. And also, I focus with my clients in my bariatric nutrition bootcamp on learning to trust your body and food. Start to enjoy your food again by relearning to listen to your body cues so you have less guilt and improve your relationship with food and your body. If you are ready to maximize your weight loss surgery results, feel confident in your journey, and be led with support and expert guidance, then the Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp is for you. If you would like to know more about my coaching program, check out the link in the show notes.
So let's go to point number 4 on why the maintenance phase can be the hardest stage after bariatric surgery. And it's when people are still stuck in the dieting mindset of they are never good enough. So it drives a lot of the dieting. It's not exactly the dieting mindset. It's really about self-worth, self-love. But that feeling of wherever they are now, wherever you are now, or however you look, whatever, it's not good enough. It needs to be better. You need to be better. And if you lose a bit more weight, you will be better. You'll be worthy of this. All things will be better. You'll be happier. Any examples of that? So that feeling of wherever they are, wherever you are is not good enough. You need to keep striving. You need to keep going. You need to keep improving. That also can drive people to derail themselves in the maintenance phase because they can't relax in and appreciate exactly where they are. They're in that constant dieting, restricting, never good enough, and people won't stay there. They will go into the eating cycles. And those eating cycles, restrictive and overeating, is yo-yo dieting. That is the yo-yo dieting. So you can lose some weight in a restrictive, but then you put it on and a bit more in overeating. So we want to work to leave those eating cycles. And then we want to embrace the third eating cycle. And that is exactly where we want to be kind of rocking the maintenance phase. And that is the mindful eating cycle or the intuitive eating cycle, where all foods fit, relaxed. You enjoy your food, you're mindful, you're active, you're not so invested time and energy wise in all of the dieting, counting calories, how to keep on track. You've got your non-negotiables that you do, you embrace your healthy lifestyle, and you relax into maintaining your weight loss and your health benefits that you've got out of your weight loss surgery. So that is the mindful or intuitive eating cycle. That was point number 5 of why can maintenance be the hardest phase is because when you go off track, you react and you default back into old habits. So I'm going to repeat that. And when you go off track, and I'm not saying if you go off track, I'm saying when, because you are human. Everyone goes off track. You will go off track at some point. Things push us off track in life. It can be getting a bout of depression. It can be something happens at your job, something with your family. You go on holidays. You hurt your ankle. You can't move for a while, for weeks, and you feel you get down. A whole range of things can push us off track. So when you go off track, you get triggered, you react, and then you default into that, how to take away that discomfort like you did when you were dieting in your dieting career. And that often default is going back into restrictive, going back into the dieting thoughts, going back into the dieting practices. And that's the restrictive eating cycle, which you won't be able to hold in, stay in forever, and you'll go into the eating cycle. So you are going to go off track at some point. What I do a lot with my clients when they're in the maintenance phase or entering it, we talk about and we work on the skills and the tools in the toolkit to identifying when we're going off track or when we are, and the skills to getting yourself back on track. And what leads that whole process is compassion. That, okay, yeah, I'm off track, this happened, that happened, I know what's happening, I'm human, I'm not going to beat myself up. What's happened in the past is in the past. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I know I get myself back into my space. And I'm going to be compassionate with myself. And that is practice. That is tools in the toolkit. You get better over time at identifying when you're going off track. You get better at picking yourself up quicker when you're off track and getting yourself back into your zone. It's really like a muscle, a practice. But there are skills and there's awareness that they have to be wrapped around or led by compassion. Because when we're compassionate with ourselves, when we're kind to ourselves, we're more likely to do, and it's easier to do habits that are good for us, that are self-caring. Okay? And that is something also I enforce a lot with my clients, is approaching the bariatric journey, and the weight loss phase, it starts there, but the maintenance, that these habits, these new lifestyle habits of what to eat and how to eat and moving the body, they are an act of self-care for your body and your mind because it's connected. I talk a lot about activity, and it's not from a weight loss perspective, it's from a mental health perspective, feeling better, sleeping better, reducing stress, helping manage negative thoughts. So that was tip number 5. When you go off track, being reactive, and your default is to go into restriction. And tip number 6 is that people that struggle in the maintenance phase, when they may see a little bit of weight regains, they just don't know how to manage the increase in appetite that is very natural and normal and expected, is they have not learned how to leverage the what to eat and how to eat to keep satisfied and keep their energy intake down. So they haven't learnt really the power of protein, really how to build more protein into the diet, how to get great quality proteins that keep them satisfied for longer, as well as fibre, and also how to eat. And that's regular meals and eating slowly and chewing your food and all of those key things that help regulate appetite and keep you satisfied for longer with a lower energy intake. So people have not necessarily learnt that. The tool of the surgery does a lot of the heavy lifting for many, many people. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. The tool of surgery, it's a powerful tool, bariatric surgery. And people experience less appetite, and then there's the restriction, you can't eat as much. And there can also be some non-absorption if you have a bypass. So that can do a lot of the heavy lifting, I call it, or the work in the early days. The body is not, and the appetite's not going to be letting you eat too much, or it really helps that weight loss. So that's why it's such a powerful tool. To different degrees for different people, definitely. okay? And then that tool decreases over time. And my example is, and I'll use this example, that you have your bariatric surgery and it's like you get a new, fancy, amazing, futuristic car that you're not used to. You've never, it's a new thing for you. You don't know how to drive this car. It will go on automatic for a while and you can just sit in that new car after your surgery, use your surgery tool, and you can just let it drive and not do a lot. But over time, that automatic function decreases and there's a point where you're going to have to learn to drive it yourself. You're going to have to learn what all the buttons to push, how things work for you personally, because you're in an individual car for you, all of that. You're going to have to learn all of that new technology or all the bits in the car. And if you've just been sitting there in the early days, not doing a lot, it's a big learning curve. It's going to, all of a sudden, the car's going to stop and it comes up on the dash. You need to drive now. You're not going to know what to do. Where do I start pushing? How do I work this? But if you can, with your new car, your new tool, you could start learning to drive in that automatic phase. The car will let you. It will let you take over and start driving in that phase. So when it starts, the automatic phase decreases and stops over time. At that point, how to drive that car. It's going to change a bit over time and the road changes that you're going to go off track, and how to get it off track. You can actually tell when you're going off track sooner, all of that you're going to be able to drive from word go in your maintenance phase. You're not going to feel like you're starting from scratch and kind of just stuck on the road, don't know how to get moving, don't know how to keep moving, and the car starts drifting off the road. So that's an example that I hope may resonate in another way of maybe seeing another way of looking at the tool of your surgery and how we can learn to drive it from the early days. It's really going to pay off in that maintenance phase, because some of the key things that I teach my clients, the weight loss surgery, foundation eating habits and what to eat, they are powerful habits and tools that not only get you the best result from your surgery, but are the same things we want to continue doing to drive, stay on track for the rest of your life and to keep all the benefits you've got from your surgery. So there's a reason why I talk about them and I drill them into my clients in a nice way. We really work on them step by step, and we work on the key ones that individual client needs to work on, because the outcomes are not just short term, but they're long term, and they are very much habits, and habits take time to build, and habits take time to fit into your personal lifestyle. It's not just do this and do that. And if it was as easy as that, we'd just be able to give you a piece of paper and a booklet and you'd be great for the rest of your life. And it's not like that, unfortunately. It is stages and different challenges, different things come up in people's bariatric journey. And that's why I do what I do. If you don't know much about me, I want to share a little bit about what I do here in my podcast. I do have an ad that I episodes, and I get lots of questions, which is wonderful. I get questions about, what does your program look like? What does it involve? Can you help me if I'm struggling with this or that? And so I want to share a bit about who I work with, how I work, and a bit about who I am. So first, who I am is, my name is Jane Stoltz. I am a registered dietitian in Australia. I have specialised nearly 7 years now as a bariatric dietitian. I've done the training. I've worked in a very busy bariatric centre, and this is my 3rd year now of working solely online. And because I worked for nearly 4 years with clients, patients pre-surgery, getting them ready for surgery, and every stage after, I became really clear about the challenges, the education needed, all the different aspects to the bariatric journey, and I decided to set up and work online so people can access support no matter where you live in the world. I've got clients in the UK, the US, I've had clients in China, Middle East, New Zealand, all over the world, Europe, all over the world. And that is wonderful because people can get access to support. You can get access to support no matter where you live. And I think that's really important. People say, how do you do that? And I just say, I have set up my program to work across time zones. So my program is for people that are pre-surgery. I'm going to go through all the different kind of main reasons why people come to work with me and how I help them. Pre-surgery, wanting to get ready for their surgery, wanting support with changing some behaviours before surgery, getting set, and then that support in the early days. My people come to work with me just post-surgery and they get that support. I support them through those dietary stages and really laying the foundations, I call it, in the early days and moving them through the dietary stages, but really starting building those weight loss surgery foundation eating habits, knowing great food choices, building variety in the diet, and really knowing how to get the most and getting the most out of their weight loss journey. People come to work with me when they have lost maybe some weight, but their weight loss has stopped or slowed down too early and they're not sure why. And we look at their diet, we adjust their diet to get weight loss going again. We want to squeeze out the most weight loss we can out of your bariatric journey because we want to leverage and make the most of the tool of your surgery that does decrease over time. Clients come to work with me because they've got to a certain point, all is good, they've started to notice their old habits coming back and they start to regain some weight. And it's scary. And there's a lot of fear. They don't want to lose all of the work that they have put in to their bariatric journey. Or you can be going okay, but you just don't know how to build a healthy diet, how to maximize your healthy lifestyle as a person that's had bariatric surgery, how to get variety. You're stuck. It's just the support you were given by your bariatric centre is not personalised enough. And there are other reasons. There's a range of other reasons that people can come and work with me. But there are some of the big key areas that people struggle. And I encourage you, if you would like to know more about my coaching support, please send me a DM and say, Jane, love to hear more about your support. I have a boot camp. They say when you have a program, you need to give it a name because you can't just say my program. So I came up with a name, but I boot camp. I do not have a whistle. I do not say get on the ground and give me 10 push-ups, anything like that. But I do have a coaching approach. I'm a registered dietitian, but I have a coaching approach because I know when we are looking to change behaviours, we need to break those changes down into small little steps. And my job is to help you, as my client, break down your goals into small bite-sized chunks and work towards them at a nice pace that suits you and that you can manage. That's where we get real long-lasting change. It's not about doing 10 things at once and changing 10 things at once. So my boot camp, it goes for, in the first time frame is 4 months or 18 weeks. And I've got 3 different levels of coaching and support. So it's just not one level. There's 3 different options. Every option does have one-on-one support, but as you move up the levels, you get more support. And my fees are really affordable. I have got different payment plans and I've got different fees, obviously, for each level to accommodate people with different financial situations. And I have different payment plans to meet people's different financial situations. So I invite you, if it's something you would like to know more about, if you would like to explore how I could help you, please reach out in the DMs of the messages of Facebook or send me an email or any way you want to reach out to me, Instagram, and say, hi, Jane, I'd love to chat with you more. And just know that there is no pressure or obligation to find out more about my coaching and support. That's what I do. I share with people how I can help them, what the options look like, and then you get to choose if I'm the right person for you. Okay? So we have got to the end of this podcast. And thank you so much for listening to this point. Thank you so much for your support. It's really wonderful when I get comments and feedback. I really love it. And I get people reaching out to me and applying to work with me and saying, Jane, I've listened to your podcast. Let's have a chat or let's talk further and see if you're the right person for me. And that's wonderful. But thank you so much for getting to this point in this podcast. I hope you found some value. And I really look forward to being back in your ears next week.